Hey everyone, thanks for clicking on this video. You're in for a real treat with this one, but before we get started, just make sure you subscribe to this video and turn on your notification bell. I appreciate you joining me. This is Corbin Dauster, and enjoy. Alright, so next up on the docket, we're going to talk about Hasan, Hamas Diddy Osama Piker, the terrorist supporting communist with a Gucci bag. The guy's a real motherfucker. He's one of the worst people in existence. Likely committing sedition on a regular basis, at least. In some cases, possibly committing treason. So we're going to go over to X. Okay, and we're going to find this post here. Let's see if we can find it. Hasan, terrorist. Here we go. We got it. That was quick and easy. So this guy is an actual legitimate terrorist, a Yemeni terrorist. He says, thank you for your support of Palestine. He's holding up this sign right here. I believe Nuxtaku responded on this too. Okay. And this other guy who I actually don't know or care about. But this guy's a terrorist. This is also a terrorist. And after that, this clip we're about to watch happens. We're going to watch the clip and Legal Mindset breaking it down for us so we can get really into it.
Twitch has a brand new Hasan problem, and this one could have huge repercussions, both legal and non-legal. We're going to get into that today. Of course, on the Legal Mindset, we teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and I'm bringing you this fast facts premiere, a quick and dirty version, while I once again...
I don't know if you've seen this clip, but it is insane. Hasan goes fully unhinged. It's a complete and total crash out. Like, I hope he shows the whole clip in this, but a viewer is like, you're basically committing treason. I can't wait to see people like you hung, which is like, it's kind of a crazy statement, but at the same time, the penalty for treason is hanging. And it is somewhat debatable whether or not Hasan is actually committing treason. Not gonna lie. So that happens. Hasan doxes the guy live on stream. Okay, turns out he doxes the wrong guy and then brandishes a firearm live on Twitch to threaten the guy, to be like, oh, well, you can't hang me. I'd like to see you come and try. I'll fucking shoot you, basically. It was crazy. It was insane. It was like, Hasan has been extremely unhinged for a long time now. You know, I've hated him since before the terrorist stuff came out because he was a communist, and I cannot stand communists. It is like my biggest pet peeve. Like, how are you a communist in 2025 with like 200 years of 100 million dead? But and gulags and all this other shit. I'm actually writing a documentary for the channel about communism. So I just don't get it, but that I was like, okay, well, fuck that guy. I just don't want to listen to him. He's a liar. He's a propagandist. He's a communist. I don't want anything to do with it. And then I found out recently with the Nux drops that the guy is not just a communist. He's an actual terrorist, like, supporter, at least, right? And with the amount of money this guy makes and the amount of influence he has, it is exceptionally reasonable to make the argument that he's providing material support to terrorists. Now, is that sedition? Definitely. Is it treason? Maybe. I think that's a reasonable thing to say. It may be treason.
On a short vacation in lovely Phuket, Thailand. So another hotel room, another place, but still bringing you the freshest news. So make sure you like this video. If you like...
Is this guy going to be the legal defense team for Johnny Somali now? Is that why he's in that part of the world?
The fast facts versions. So let's get right into it. Twitch has always taken a preferential stance when it comes to enforcing its guidelines.
Yeah, see Tectone for evidence of this claim. It's very true. They're pretty bad, honestly. There's a reason we're not multi-streaming on Twitch. You know, it would be free for me to do so. I will not do it. I could gain 1-2 extra followers, and that would be big for me right now because I don't have very many. but I won't do it. I will not contribute a single penny to that awful, crumbling website. I already don't like Amazon. I don't like Google either, to be honest, but I already don't like Amazon. And this is like their actions over the course of the past like 3 months have been irredeemable. Like they would have to shut down and reopen with a different name entirely. Although I am thinking about maybe going the Rumble route. That might be a good idea.
At least it, when looking at its terms of service, has not always applied those equally to all groups and people. And one of the people that gets the most criticism for this, and that many folks across the board have said is the really recipient of a lot of the benefit of the terms of service without the burden of punishment, has been one Hasan Piker. Now, today, there was an absolutely extreme
It got suspended
incident
for one day for
really
calling for
points
violence,
out
and it was
the
his day off
problem for
already.
Twitch in having this unequal enforcement involving Hasan, and how this can have legal consequences. And this is involving him swinging around what appears to be, and that's the very key here, legally and overall, what appears to be a weapon. So let's take
Bro,
a
the
look at
magazine
the
fell
video.
out. It was
It's the
clearly
video
a firearm.
that I found over on X, which highlights this incident. So we'll take this clip here and give some commentary as we go.
It's time to crusade Iran and Gaza. Mamdani communists. Let's go to war against the left.
So so to give you some background here, it appears there's a chatter in his chat who is made a
Based.
bunch of comments. Obviously, these are comments that are not fitting with the vibe in the crowd of Hasan's.
Damn, we will fight the left before they elect a communist. Every infidel shall be hung for treason. Jesus Christ. Bro is going a little hard. I mean, for me, I'm against the death penalty, so, but I'm also against communists. So what's the solution? It's very simple. You don't have to kill them. You just exile them. No more American citizenship. Citizenship revoked. Expedited deportation. After, of course, a criminal trial. Yeah, I think that's the best solution.
Chat, obviously, for any of this, he would have the ability to block and or ban this person. Of course, every single content creator retains the right to ban people out of their chat for whatever reason. Some people are more permissive, some people are more restrictive. That's really up to the creators on their platform. If they choose to ban people for anything, that's up to them. We wouldn't be here today if this was just a block and ban incident, which, once again, I think there was plenty of grounds for him as a creator saying, hey, I don't want this person here. And some of this language was even pretty extreme, saying hang Hasan for treason. Yeah, that's pretty extreme.
Yeah, it's pretty
and
extreme.
You know what? Blocking and banning someone.
However, at the same time, at least you're talking about the consequences of a jury trial, right? Like, it is extreme, but that is literally and lawfully the outcome for many people who are tried for treason and found guilty, right? So, like, he's not just saying kill Hasan Piker, which is not what I'm saying either. I would never say something like that. He's saying try him for treason, and if he's found guilty, then do what is necessary under the law. Like, that is it is a radical thing to say that I don't agree with, but at the same time, it's not as bad as half the shit this fucking guy says. Like, hiding and lying about rapes against Israelis because he doesn't like Jews, okay? Calling Houthi pirates Luffy and hosting them on the stream, and even if they weren't, it doesn't matter that if they were or weren't a terrorist, an actual Houthi. He thought they were when he put them on stream. Okay, reading manifestos, just the constant terrorist apologia. He said that he thinks that the Houthis deserve a Nobel Peace Prize. Like, this guy 10 toes down supports the Houthi terrorists. This is sedition, definitionally. And he's a naturalized citizen, I believe. I don't think he was born in the United States. I'm pretty sure he was born in Turkey and he's a naturalized citizen. His citizenship should absolutely be revoked. I think on the grounds of his communist support alone, but I'm a little bit radical when it comes to communists specifically because they intentionally destroy everything they touch.
Someone for that would be called for. If someone came into my
And
chat
lie.
or anybody else's chat and said that about that creator, yeah, they would probably catch a ban. They would probably catch a block and a ban, and possibly a report, a broader report. But the response that Hasan gives here is not proportional nor appropriate to these comments. Let's play this.
In our sincerity and actually delivering for the very working people who've been left behind by our
So let's be clear. He's gone and retrieved what appears to be a pistol. Now, many people have pointed out it could be airsoft or it is airsoft or whatever else.
It is not.
The key here is that it appears to be a real weapon. I'll also note, as someone who played airsoft for like 8-9 years as a kid, I had MP5s, I had pistols, I had a sniper rifle, even an airsoft sniper rifle. You're supposed to have an orange tip or a marker on the end of an airsoft. That would be not a typical airsoft to lack
If
that
you're
marker.
out here saying that this is an airsoft gun, you're just lying for Hasan, and you shouldn't be taken seriously. You can see in the same clip, and I don't know if it'll be highlighted, but you can see the magazine fall out of this firearm. Airsoft guns haven't. I've shot airsoft guns. I used to go to airsoft guns every weekend with some friends. Okay. They have a magazine that's a fake magazine. You can see the ammo in the magazine. This is a real magazine. This is a real firearm, and that's, I'm pro firearm. You should be able to have one. I would grab mine out of the safe and just cog it back and unload it and just make some noises with it on. Maybe I'll do that, but that's not the point. I'm not threatening a viewer with it.
Or remove that orange tip, even though, of course, some people do that. Some people make it more realistic. But the key here, and this is a key that is not just in analyzing this for Twitch terms of service, but also broader for the law, is that you can make a physical threat. You can make a threat or try to intimidate somebody with even a
fake gun. Yes. So, like, if you are, like, brandishing an airsoft gun that appears to be a real gun, doesn't have an orange tip, at somebody, like, for instance, a police officer, and aiming it at them and yelling out threats or something like that, they totally can shoot you. And they should be able to.
Weapon,
they don't know.
With a fake knife, with a fake gun, with a fake bomb. If you were going to try to hijack a plane and you attempted that with a
or
fake
rob
gun,
a bank with a fake
it would not
gun.
be material in terms of your defense. You would not be able to
Doesn't
say,
matter.
well, it was fake, so I couldn't do it all along. When you get caught and arrested and thrown in jail, you don't get off because, it was fake. No, you would lead a reasonable person to believe that was real, and a reasonable person could have fear of that knife, gun, bomb, whatever, despite the fact that it's not objectively real. So that's a defense a lot of people brought up, and I don't think that stands up. Let's continue here.
politics compared with what President Trump has been able to do. Over the same period of time that I've been running, has been I would tell him, the last person who couldn't get my name right, we defeated them, and that's what it's going to look like again.
Okay, fair enough.
Once again, brandishing the weapon, flaring it around. Obviously, there's a point to this. Obviously, there's an individual who this is directed at. This is something that's not really ambiguous in the general intention.
As you may
Oh, you found his.
There you go.
I'll show you 3 ways you can use your smartphone.
So here's another crazy thing about the doxing. So now you've paired, so you've linked up brandishing a weapon, what appears to be a real weapon, whether or not it is, whether it's an airsoft or whether it's fake. You've paired up
It's totally irrelevant.
brandishing a weapon with doxing, which is revealing their private information, which, by the way,
Doxing alone is a threat against somebody's life. No matter how you shake it, because then you can swat somebody, and that is also attempted murder. Because what's the point if you're not hoping that the cops will kill the person?
way, in certain jurisdictions, in certain places in the world, is illegal. So you've done 2 things which are potentially illegal. There's the brandishing, the threats, the intimidation, and then you've got the doxing, right? So you've got 2 separate things you're now doing together. So that this is combining to make it even worse.
Wait, this is the guy?
First thing we want to do is download the YouTube VPN app, which we can do through the first link in the description.
fuck are you gonna do, bro?
And of course, I do like the pop up there, just explaining that this is clearly against their TOS. This is something that is not, holistic.
Well, they don't care because they agree with Hasan's
Is,
politics.
of course, against the Twitch terms of
They're
service.
also radical
Write a
communists.
petition? Let's do a crusade, he says. Let's do a fucking crusade, he says. Let's hang Hasan and Mamdani.
Hold on, let's take a second. Okay. This is a Glock. It looks like a Glock 19, but I could be wrong. I'm not that much of a firearms expert. Glock 19. Okay. No, it's not a 19. It's a longer version of... Well, no, it might be. Hold on. Let's take a... Oh, no, that's 100% a Glock 19. Okay, so we have a Glock 19 here. Huh. Well, it certainly does have the orange tip. I don't know. There was a couple of angles where you could see the barrel. Let's take a look at the barrel, huh? See, the thing about these is that this part is actually a little smaller than a regular Glock, right? And that's because there's a little pellet coming out and not a real gun. So here's a 17. It could be a 17. It looks really similar to a 17 as well. Alright, so let's just take a look at this. Handle, how's that handle look? Now, one thing I will say I admire is the finger discipline. Good on you for that. The giveaway is the handle, and I can't see it, but let's just keep watching.
For treason, he said. The fuck are you gonna do?
No, this is a real gun all day.
Go on a fishing expedition? Try to fucking put malware in my phone? Is that what you're gonna do? You skinny bitch.
And to be clear, nothing that Hasan said would be necessarily impermissible. He could say all those things. He could call them, I believe his technical word was a skinny bitch, all he wants. That would have been perfectly fine. He could yell at this guy the whole night, scream at this guy the whole night. The problem was the weapon combined with the doxing, right? All the other stuff he could do. That's his show. He can run it how he wants. That wouldn't necessarily be against TOS to just yell at the guy the whole night and make fun of the guy. That's fine. Do it your way. Not what we do on my channel. But hey, he can do it on his channel all he wants. But with that, you open yourself up to a bunch of problems. And Twitch is opened up to a bunch of problems. Because now they've got to decide what they're going to do with Hasan. And in the past, they've only given him slaps on the wrist. That is, they've given him 1 day or 24-hour bans or sometimes 12-hour bans. And that's been all they've done
On his day off.
with him. But now we've got a serious problem because we've got a situation in which if he is not banned for this,
Twitch will be implicated in these crimes. That's, this is a big deal.
this opens up this behavior for others. So it opens up this behavior, these threats for other people, which can bring...
Which they don't really care about, honestly. Like, they really don't give a shit because they're already doing that, right? Like, Denims gets away with saying horrible shit that's slanderous and libel and against TOS. Frogan says horrible shit that's slanderous, libel and against TOS. Shonda Black's Mike from PA. Oh my God. Mike from PA will have streams where he just is crashing out and doxing people in his chat for disagreeing with him. Like, it's like a hobby of his. So, the cat's out of the bag. Like, everybody's seeing this now. You've got legal, whatever the fuck this guy's name is. What is it? What's Legal Mindset? You've got Legal Mindset talking about this. Subscribe to Legal Mindset, by the way. Go watch his video on it. The cat's out of the bag, gang. And here's the thing. They still
on
don't care.
What appears to be real weapons, knives, bombs, and dox people, threaten them. And here's the problem for Twitch. They open themselves up for not just losing advertisers, which is a big non-legal issue, not just looking bad as a brand, because obviously nobody wants to be the platform in which people are openly brandishing weapons and threatening others and doxing them. That's not good for a platform. But you open yourself up to illegal consequences as well. Now, obviously, many people know the breach of contract route. And there are arguments in terms of breaching the contract between the creator and the platform in terms of banning somebody for one type of behavior, whereas you don't ban somebody for another. So you don't ban Hasan for this, but let's say another creator is banned for this. Well, there might be a cause of action open up there. Now, there's a lot of challenges with that. That's a difficult one. But one that's even more interesting and one that is really untested, and in fact, there may be many people looking to test this, is a consumer type action under a private right of action. Every state has their consumer laws, and those laws are sometimes very, very strong. And one thing they protect against is unfair and deceptive practices.
And here's the crazy thing about Twitch is that the consumers are the users and the consumers are the content creators as well. So you could theoretically, like a lot of content creators on Twitch are in Texas now. So you could theoretically get a bunch of the people who are using Twitch in Texas to activate these laws against Twitch. And Jeff Bezos is like, I don't care.
And it indeed is a very strong case to say it is an unfair and deceptive practice to benefit some people while punishing others. Because this bias, for example, Hasan bias, is not disclosed anywhere. It's not given out in the terms of service. When you read the terms of service, nowhere does it say everyone will be punished except for Hasan Piker. Everyone will be banned except for Hasan Piker. Or, for example, if you want to be more broad, everyone will be banned except people who share Hasan Piker's political beliefs or affiliations or associations.
That's essentially how the rules work right now, too.
If that was disclosed publicly, then fair dues, then you can do what you're trying to do.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, and that's the crazy part, is all they have to do is put it in their bullshit terms of service already. Because, like, what most companies will do is they'll put in there a clause where they can ban you or remove you for any reason whatsoever at any point in time. And Twitch isn't doing that. They're just lying about what their TOS is, and they're enforcing it based on how they feel at that point in time, because they want to have this appearance of being bipartisan and accepting and empathetic. But the reality is that their radical extremists are mods, or their mods are all radical extremists, and they're just doing whatever the most radical person on the left is doing on the platform to empower them, by either not banning people who are doing insane shit or by banning people who are just doing really mundane shit, right? So like Tectone is very close to being permanently banned off of Twitch. And he's the best example of this because he hasn't really done diddly, like at all. He hasn't done anything. And they're just like, yeah, you're done, kid. We're going to end you.
Of course, advertisers may have an issue with that, but legally it wouldn't be as deceptive. But now you're deceiving the consumer, both the people that are consuming the content, that are expecting that their favorite content creators will not be banned, and then seeing them get banned, and deceiving the creators themselves by lulling them into a belief that they can stream on your platform safely and do what they want, just like Hasan. But then they're ultimately punished. And they're punished for a much longer period of time. They're losing a much larger slice of revenue, memberships, subscriptions, etc., affiliate deals than Hasan. So you're able to point to that and say, I have damages because I am being banned for 7x, 10x, 30x, way longer than Hasan. And I can bring this private cause of action for an unfair and deceptive practice on the part of Twitch. And there's a lot of folks that may be opened up for that. So looking at this, real big problem, and would be even a bigger problem if there was a real incident where somebody got into an altercation where there was a threat made like Hasan and then somebody responded with force.
Yeah. I wonder if we could come up with some examples of that maybe happening. You know, that would be terrible if that did happen. It would be pretty bad if there was like somebody who engages in force and terrible acts and deeds, even if they were in another part of the world altogether, who is just like super duper in love with Hasan Piker. I mean, it would be really awful if there was some real world effects to this propaganda. And people thinking, oh, hey, you know, if Hasan can do it, that means that I could do it too, you know? Like, that would be terrible. That would be a really terrible thing if that happened. If maybe like 2 Jews were shot in the street, one while they were executed, while they were crawling away in cold blood, begging for help.
We saw the case of Sin City
Free
Manny
Palestine,
in
though,
Las
am I
Vegas, the
right?
streamer that responded to taunting and threats of other streamers. People are not beyond responding with violence, particularly in America. That is something in 2025. That's something that could happen, and God forbid that do happen. Would be the absolute end of Twitch as a platform. What do I see them doing? They've got to do something against Hasan. Hopefully, they give him a longer term ban, more than just 24 hours. But unfortunately, Twitch has been known to be very light on its favorite golden boy. But let me know in the comments below.
They sang happy birthday to Hasan. Let's not forget. They sang happy birthday. Like, the guy who runs Twitch got a bunch of thoughts together and retards to sing happy birthday to Hasan. Imagine you're like in the back coding and you're like so tired of your job. You just can't wait to go home. And you're like putting in this code to make subs come up for Twitch streamers in a specific way that like it's really annoying, and you've been trying to do it all day, and like you'll write one line of code that you think is gonna fix it, but it fucks 3 other things up, and that's been happening for like 2.5 hours straight. And you're just so done. Like you're done with the day. You're annoyed. It's been like an uphill battle all day. And then Dan Clancy walks into your fucking cubicle and is like, hey, get up. We gotta go say happy birthday to Hasan Piker, communist extraordinaire and terrorist supporter, lover of lubricant and old man of 42. We have to go sing his 43rd birthday for him while he's on stream.
What you
I would just fucking end it, bro. I'm not even kidding. Like, I would just be so done. I would
think
end
about
it
the
in
whole
a video
situation,
game.
and what do you think they're going to do with Hasan, if they're going to do anything? And I'll catch you on the next.
All right, good video, great video. Some say it was the best video. I say that.